You also notice that this is the first slide that you've seen in this presentation that shows a horse, and I did that on purpose. I want to remind you that you're a business owner that just happens to work with horses. It can be very difficult to remember this when you're in a barn, but you need to. You need to make sure you're operating as a business and not as a hobby. And the reason is that the IRS in their stepped-up audit modes are going to be looking at this more than ever. So it becomes very important. So now let's look at some ways that you can work more efficiently. First, you can improve your receivables. If you got paid the instant you gave a lesson, or trained a horse, or bred a mare, or whatever your work is, you would probably never think about cash flow issues. Unfortunately, and especially in the equine industry, that doesn't happen. But that doesn't mean you can't improve your cash flow. The idea is to improve and shorten the time between when you provide services and products to receiving the cash from your customers. And here are a couple of suggestions for improving your cash flow. Offer discounts to customers who pay their bills rapidly. Give a 50% discount on a lesson if a customer pays their lesson package in full for 3 months in advance. Also, make it easy for them to pay. Set up online bill paying through PayPal or QuickBooks. Accept credit cards. Tell your customers it's a benefit to them because they get to earn their frequent flyer miles. And it's a benefit to you because you get paid immediately. For our farm, I send out board bills on the 25th of the month for the next month. So, for example, I send out board bills due June 1 on May 25th. With allowing customers to use credit cards and the ability to pay online, 25% of my customers pay their board bill before the first of the month. And because I have my books set up with QuickBooks Merchant Services, the funds are deposited directly into my bank account and are recorded against each boarder's account without me doing a thing. So it saves me from having to get checks and create a deposit and go to the bank, and I spend less time in the office doing paperwork to record that they've paid. It's all done for me. Ask customers to pay deposits or retainers for upcoming shows or lessons. Create a lesson package and have something like pay for 12 lessons and get the 13th at half price. At our Hunter Jumper facility, we go to Florida for the winter circuit, and it's extremely difficult for us financially during the time because we're incurring all the expenses up front and then billing our customers after it was over. And our credit card bills were always coming due before our customers were invoiced, and it made our cash flow look really bad. It took me a while to convince my sisters that we needed to get retainers. So we instituted, when they finally allowed me to, a circuit deposit that was pretty substantial. And I thought my sisters were going to have a heart attack. They swore that all the clients would leave. But you know what? The clients loved it. And you know why? Because they no longer got that huge bill at the end that gives them the heart attack. They prefer doing the retainer. Another one is get rid of old, outdated inventory. Sell off that old piece of equipment or tack or other stuff that you don't use anymore. Get it out of the shed and on eBay. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Okay, here's an important one. Issue invoices promptly and follow up immediately if payments are slow in coming. This one is critical. You must invoice promptly. And there is nothing that says you can only bill at the end of the month. For example, our boarding facility used to wait and bill everything that had happened at the end of the month. Basically, we were acting like a bank for our customers' outside services, like the blacksmith or the shipper. Now, when we pay a vendor, the invoice goes out immediately to the customers to pay for that service with the invoice stating due upon receipt. Cuts down on the amount of time that we're out of pocket on behalf of our customers for their outside vendors. Another one is to track accounts receivable to identify slow-paying customers. I have a hard time getting this through to business owners. People who don't pay their bills are not, quote, good customers. Don't tell me you don't want to charge somebody a late fee because it will make them mad. You aren't a bank. If they don't pay on time, there must be consequences. Late fees and interest are fair when you have outlaid your time and expense on their behalf and they aren't fulfilling their agreement to pay. I can tell you flat out that it works. Years ago, I had a customer who habitually paid late. We instituted late fees and interest rate charges and put out a notice to our customers to let them know about it. It took 3 months for her to get the message and see that there were consequences to not paying the board bill on time. She then would call me and ask if she was caught up and wanted to make sure she didn't have any bills that were going to be charged late fees. It works. Another way to look at it, if they don't pay you, you are working for free. Finally, institute a policy of cash on delivery, COD, as an alternative. If a boarder is really behind, tell them that the outside vendors will only be paid if they paid up front, or they'll only do services if you get the money from them up front. Don't let them continue to get further behind, and get them on a payment plan to get their bills back on track. Don't let them continue to use you as their personal bank.